So a couple days ago, my results came out. I saw the Microsoft Teams notification on my laptop, and my teacher said, yo, go check it out right now. I hopped on my laptop, went to the school website, typed in everything, and then I waited. And I waited some more, and I waited some more, and then anxious thoughts started creeping in. My heart rate started going up. I felt like more blood go to my brain, which I don't know if that's normal. The screen seemed to be loading forever. And so I got impatient, I clicked reload, which made it take even longer. I don't know why I did that.
Bro, load fast!
The loading screen continued until it loaded. And my grades are fine. The world hadn't ended. And that made me realize that I hadn't been stressed in quite a while. It had been so long that I kind of forgotten up till now. And it reminded me of back, 2-3 years ago where that was my normal level of stress around the clock. But the thing is, now life is harder, I have more stuff to do, YouTube videos to make, deadlines to hit. But I'm actually less stressed. And I thought, okay, why is that? And I boiled it down to this one question that could change your entire view on stress and pressure, which is, what if we just saw stress as a normal part of life? Really think about it. What if we just saw stress as a sign of growth? The same way in the gym, when you are stressed, that's when your muscles grow. Muscles that are not stressed will not grow. Because think about it, if you define stress as like an uneasy or painful feeling you get from high pressure environments or situations, or maybe uncertainty about the future, everybody experiences that. And as we've just defined it, it's very clear that stress is just a feeling. So that means you can still win whilst being stressed. You can still do the work necessary whilst being stressed. And so a lot of people try to run away from stress. Like they look at the thing that's stressing themselves out the most, like for example school, and there's only two things you can do. You can either get rid of it, which you're not going to get rid of school, you're not going to drop out. And two, even if you do get rid of it, you're still going to replace it with new stress anyway. You think people that drop out of school are not stressful? They're probably equally, if not more, stressed. So if we boil it down to option A, option B, if both options still lead to stress, then stress becomes irrelevant because it doesn't change. It's the same thing for both. And we think we will accomplish something and then the stress will go away, but generally, stress doesn't go away, it gets replaced with new stress. Kings are stressed, knights are stressed, the villagers are stressed. Different reasons for being stressed, but all stressed nonetheless. Oh, that bar, bro, still stressed nonetheless. And so stress is just an emotion that honestly now I just see as a constant. So here's an analogy to really bring the point home. If you're at the top of the mountain, you're the king. It's stressful because you are afraid of someone else taking your spot, taking your crown, stealing your position at number one. And if you do fall, the higher you are, the faster you fall to the ground. If you're climbing up the mountain, it's stressful because your legs are tired. You're constantly thinking about the top of the mountain, meaning you're also thinking about the fact that you're not there yet. You want to be at the top, meaning you're not there, meaning you're dissatisfied, meaning you have something to fulfill, meaning you're not totally happy with your current situation, which is why you are walking. You don't enjoy the scenery because you're just looking at the path and you want to go straight ahead. If you're stagnant, meaning you're not moving at all, you get to enjoy the scenery. You're at this little nice part of the mountain, but at some point, the scenery gets boring. You're sitting there and it's stressful because you look at the side and you see other people climbing up the mountain. You see other people climbing up, passing you, and they're all going up to the top and you're just stuck here. And if you're at the bottom of the mountain, well, it's stressful because there's this big, intimidating mountain that you gotta climb and there's no view from down there. You just see the thing that you haven't conquered yet. So no matter what, whether you're at the top of the mountain, whether you're hiking up, whether you're stagnant, or whether you haven't started, life is still stressful. And from me saying that, it might make it sound more stressful, like worse. But when I said it out loud, like, oh, no matter what, life will be stressful, it actually caused a lot of relief. Like, you can say it out loud right now. No matter what, life will still be stressful. And for some reason, that removed like 70% of the stress, because now I didn't see it as a problem to be solved. I just saw it as a reality to experience. For example, we're all gonna die. That is something that will happen. But think about it. We don't wake up every morning and go, oh no, wait, one day I'm gonna die. No. But we do that about stress. We wake up and we stress about the things that we gotta get done today, the homework that's due by the end of the week. One is more scary, but we don't think about it. One is less scary, and we think about it all the time. And I think that's because we don't see it as a problem to be solved, and so we don't really think about it, and so it shrinks in relevancy on the day-to-day basis. And so it makes it that much easier to accept it as a part of life. But for stress, we always see it as a problem to be solved, and so we cannot accept it. But what if we just saw it as the same as death. It's something we cannot escape. You know that quote like, there's only a few things guaranteed in life, death and taxes? What if we just added stress to that? And so I think death is the ultimate example of out of sight, out of mind. If you don't think about it, and you just forget about it, humans are really good at accepting things, even something as depressing as death. Let's boil it down to option A, option B. Option A, you live a good life. Option B, you live a bad life. In both, you still die. So you may as well live a bueno life. Then let's do the same thing with stress. Option A, you live a life where you accomplish things and you're stressed. Option B, you live a life at the bottom of the mountain and you're still stressed. Why don't we just use that stress to accomplish big things? Like honestly, I get more stress from people saying that I'm stressed than being stressed itself. Like I'm stressed about being stressed, not from actual stress. And that's a little side point, but basically when other people look at you doing a lot of work and they say, oh, you should be stressed, you should be really overworked right now, that's because their burnout line might be lower, like their capacity to work might be lower. For example, me 5 years ago, looking at me now, he would think I'm stressed as hell because of the amount of things I'm doing. But within those 5 years, I've already grown enough to handle this amount of work, so it doesn't really matter. And that brings up another point. Over my years of being alive, I've stressed over hundreds, thousands of things. But right now, looking back, and you can do this as well, look back at your life. How many can you remember right now? Those things passed. And so whatever you're stressed about right now will pass as well. And so I see that as a necessary part of the process to grow anyway. Because stress is just one emotion on the infinite spectrum of emotions. So this might be a little bit philosophical, but at the end of my life, I would want to have experienced the full spectrum of life and what it has to offer, the negative and the positive. And even if I don't want to experience the negative, I still will, because by definition 50% of life will be below average. And so if you really think about it, you're probably the same. You also want that. You want to experience the highs and lows, because that's what makes the highs even a thing. And so the way to get rid of stress is to decide that it's not a problem to be solved, but a reality to experience, and it's just a part of life. It's one of the many spectrums of emotion that we'll go through. And so once you get rid of that, once this fog clears away from your eyes, you can look at the real cause for the stress. For example, the failing grades. And then we can actually focus on what we're supposed to do, on what we want to work on, instead of being stressed about being stressed. Take action. If you're a teenager or like a student like me and you're into these topics like self-improvement, mindset, mental health, that kind of thing, then if you want more from me, you can join my free community. It's linked below. I do a Q&A call like once every week, once every 2 weeks, so you can come in and you can talk to me if you want. It's completely free. Scroll down, click on that right now. See you inside.